It takes a village to lift you higher. We teach the way, feed the fire. It takes a village.
Welcome to another episode of the Village Podcast where people help people, and I'm your host, Kendale Lumpkins. Today I have somebody that's really, really near and dear to my heart, somebody that's been a friend of mine for the past 8+ years. She's the coach. She's the head basketball coach of the USM women's basketball team. Would y'all please help me welcome my friend, Missy Bilderback, to the show.
Kendale, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Super excited to be on today.
Yeah, so I open up all of these shows because, you know, you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a head coach, you're a friend, you're a sister, you're a daughter. And I think sometimes it gets lost in people doing and not many people saying, well, how are you? So
Right.
I always open up, and you can be as free as you want to share, but like, how is Missy, not the coach, not the wife, not the friend, not the whatever you serve as, how are you doing?
I mean, I'm doing great. I'm staying busy.
Yeah.
So all of that kind of runs together, you know, obviously. So the coach, the wife, the mom. Right now I've got a senior that's just turned 19 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And so really had a great time celebrating his birthday yesterday and
yeah.
just all the senior festivities and kind of getting my heart and mind ready for him, you know, even though he will be at Southern Miss, thank goodness. It won't be too bad. But anyway, I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Good,
So had a chance to kind of catch up after the season, and we're in the transfer portal right now. And then I'll have a few weeks before we bring our new team in to just spend some time with family and Chip and Drew and my parents. But overall, we're doing really well.
No, that's good. That's good to hear. So you come from a line of coaches.
Yes, definitely.
And so was it like when you were in school, in high school, did you know you would be a coach? Did you did this was like, that's what I want to do?
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously I always loved sports, right? And I mean, that was just such a big part of our life with my dad being a football coach and played every sport there was, high school, played 3 sports at Pearl River Community College. And so I just loved anything that was competitive. I loved to do. Looked at some other things, but at the end of the day, I just kept circling back and had a coaching job at PCS kind of fall in my lap when I was in college at Southern Miss. And, man, I loved it. It was so much fun, and just loved my day-to-day of just getting to impact people and coach kids and coach a game of basketball. So never really a decision after that, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And so talk to me about, you know, the people that impacted your life. I'm sure there's a coach. I know you talk about your dad, but I'm sure there's some people that poured into you that helped you get this start.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, obviously my dad, I mean, you got to mention him, just his background. You know, I think the biggest thing with my dad was like understanding, like, one, how to lead people. Like I learned so much from him about that, but also like, I feel like when I watched my dad coach, like he was just more than a coach to his players. And that was something I wanted to strive to be. It's just more than just X's and O's and winning and losing. So that was something I hoped, you know, and when you get into this stuff, it's so hard because you want to win and it's hard. You got to keep the right perspective. But that was something I certainly wanted to make sure I stayed true to. And then, you know, I've talked a lot about Coach K. James. I mean, you know, obviously it's a real honor to be at Southern Miss. And, you know, I've known Coach K a long time. And when I was a young coach, she was somebody that really invested in me and spent some time at PCS. And she was kind of transitioning to retirement as I was transitioning into my job at PCS. So it really was a great time there. And then there's so many other people. You know, I was at the Gillum Awards with JK this week, and I had a chance to run into Coach Jan Sojourner. She was one of the winningest coaches in the state of Mississippi, and I got to thinking about Coach Sojourner and just me as a young coach and, you know, the experience and success she had. And she just always took the time to encourage me, and anytime I wanted to talk, or if we had won the overall and had a great win, she would call and congratulate me, or if we had a tough loss, just to check on me. And, you know, I just think it takes people like that. But certainly there's been a lot of people to impact and influence, but, you know, those are a few.
So I never knew this. I mean, I've been knowing you for a while, but I never knew like what made you be like you are to your players. Like, so whenever I get a chance to look and you've brought me in to help out with the program and talk to the players since you was at Jones, right?
Right.
But I never knew, because, coaching is, I got to win.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying, a good bit of coaches focus on.
Right.
But it was something about players that you treated them like they were your kids, though.
Right.
Like, and so I never knew where that came from. I just knew,
Yeah.
like, man, what is it? These folks will go all over the world to play for Missy Bilderback. But I saw how you cared for
Yeah.
them. I saw how it was not just a number. They're not just somebody that's on the basketball court. And once you're done playing basketball, you're done.
Right.
And it's been consistent with everybody that I've seen. So that just gives me some insight to why you are the way you are. You say your dad treated them more than just football players.
Yeah. We had unfortunately, I lost my brother about a month ago, and unexpectedly, and at the service, like, it was really interesting how many of my dad's former players were there.
Wow.
Really meant a lot. It was a hard time, obviously a really hard time for my family, but obviously extremely hard for my dad. And so to see about to cry about just thinking about it, but all of those guys come back, and a lot of former players come back, just really to be there to support my dad. I've got to watch him impact, and he was always just more than a football coach. He really was, Kendale. Yeah. And so I think that's motivated me. Like, if I'm going to be in this business, it's hard. There's a lot of pressure. You got to really keep the right perspective. I'm so competitive. I want to win. Yeah.
And
I mean, this year was tough, I want to win. And so I think, though, keeping the perspective of, like, why you coach basketball and why you choose this profession, it's so important to being happy, to being successful, and just understanding, like, why you work as hard as you do every day. But certainly that's absolutely, watching my dad, that's been so impactful for me.
Yeah, because like I believe and so I wasn't around for your PCS years.
Right.
So I got in, I met you around the Jones time, but you've won at a high level.
Oh yeah.
And still been able to do that.
Right.
And then I've always associated you winning with how well you took care of the people.
Yeah.
And that always made a difference. And I think sometimes people put winning above taking care of the people.
Right.
And then they may have one good year.
Right.
They may be up 2 years and then they fall off because all we ever focused on was winning. But like, you've been able to consistently do that at a high level. And I think that speaks volumes to just who you are as a person more than a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing, though, honestly, it's like, when you have great kids, and, like, I think we approach, like, PCS. What's funny about this, I think sometimes I tell this story in recruiting, but, like, I mean, when I was a coach at PCS, I just loved coaching basketball, and I got to be around kids every day. We worked extremely hard. I held those kids to a high standard, and we just had fun with it. We really did. We worked as hard as we could, and we had fun with it. So when I'd have players leave my program, going to play college, they come back and say, man, it's just not fun anymore. Yeah. And so I kind of made a commitment when I got a chance to go coach at Jones.
Wow.
I said, man, I'm just going to do it the same and just see if it works. Like, I'm going to be organized. I'm going to push the kids. I'm going to hold them accountable, but I'm not going to suck the fun out of it. And I was going to really try to take that approach. And I think when we got to Jones, kind of the same thing happened. Players would go off, maybe not having quite as much fun. It was just too business-like. Yeah. And so I said, well, there's got to be a way to balance. Like, at the end of the day, they're still kids and they're young adults at the college level. So they're transitioning to adulthood, and, like, they're still transitioning to being a young adult, And so you don't want, it's a sport, it's a game. You got to put the ball in the hoop, And so you don't want to lose sight that it's about the things you do every day. Do you do the right thing? Do you work as hard as you can? Do you treat people the right way? And if your team does that, respond to adversity, and just those life lessons, like, those are the things that at the end of the day, if you're doing that, you're doing the best you can. You just can't forget to have fun with it, And I think that's one thing, I've tried to stay true to. Obviously, the higher level you get,
it's hard.
I mean, the more difficult it is because there's a lot of pressure to win. And I think sometimes I have to check myself and make sure I'm not losing sight of, like, hey, this is the reason I got into this, and because I don't want to disappoint, I want to win. I want to be successful. I don't want, and 9 times out of 10 when we're not successful, I'm gonna blame myself. And I want our players to experience those moments and the fun of winning that, we've been so accustomed to experiencing. And so, I think just trying to maintain that mindset, like, that's kept me in a pretty good place overall. Yeah,
because I think it helps you sleep well at night when you know that you keep why you do what you do at the forefront.
Right.
because it's so easy to lose sight of that. Like, you know, you can get to this place at USM, you can start winning,
right,
or it don't go your way,
right.
and then now we just change who we are and what we do as a result of. But this is what got you here.
Exactly.
This is why kids. I'm saying, like, I've talked to several players,
right,
and if they could have played 4 years at Jones, they would have played 4 years at Jones,
right.
But they couldn't. They had to go off somewhere. And then you had several players when you left and went at a 4-year university. They follow you there.
That probably had no business at first, you know, when we went to ULM and the resources and things initially that we had, and, you know, players like Nunu Bradford and JK and, you know, you look at Sakaya and Mel and those kids over the years. So, I mean, it's been, you know, but that's such a blessing. Like, for me, like, that's one of the most special things is to have these players come back and play for us, and, you know, Kaja Miles, Olivia Knight. I mean, those. I hope I didn't leave anybody out.
I'm saying
but it's
some
been
ballers. I remember.
Oh yeah, so it's been a fun. You know, that's been a really fun, you know, journey to be able to get to coach kids for 4 or 5 years in college. You know, and I had an opportunity to do that with a lot of players, Carly Keats, you know, here at Southern Miss, and so, you know, I just think it's one of those things that, you know, I don't take for granted for sure, but I hope, like, I do think our players know we care about them, you know, more than just a basketball player, what they can do for us. I want them to still have fun with it, but I certainly want them to be their very best and push them as hard as I can. So finding that mix of that and, you know, how to help them grow as people, like, you know, making sure they learn lessons from basketball and the game, you know, continuing to have fun, and then obviously trying to be the very best they can be. It is hard to keep a balance, but that's my hope. I'm not saying we get it right every time, but
right.
That's my hope and prayer, is that we're able to do that for sure.
Yeah, and so USM is a dream job for you.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
and here's when you first got the job, I believe regardless of the first year, the second year, I believe they got the hire right because you were somebody that wanted to be here.
Right.
This was not just a stepping stone for you.
Right.
But, like, how does it feel? Like, because, you know, we say we got a dream job and then it actually happens.
Right.
Like, how does that, like, you're in it now. You're sitting here, you're the head coach of did you picture this?
Right. It's been a whirlwind, like, the last year. And so, I'm so grateful, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. And it's been something that, honestly, I always just kind of said, like, whatever my next steps are, I just pray that those doors would open. Like, if this was meant to be one day, then obviously, then it would happen. If it's not, then, you know, I was really grateful for the opportunity to coach at PCS and Jones. And then when I had my first Division I job at ULM, I was so grateful for that. So, you know, I never really kind of thought about it that way. I did, obviously, for so many reasons. Obviously, Southern Miss, you know, I graduated from Southern Miss, and I love the university. I love the people. I think the leadership is fantastic there. I really think I get to work for the best people, which is awesome.
That matters.
That really matters. So I'm very thankful for that. And then the opportunity, I love Hattiesburg so much, and, like, I love the Pine Belt and the community. So it's pretty cool to get to be the head coach at Southern Miss because of the Pine Belt community as well, right? And just all the relationships over the years here. And then also you look at it, you know, just from a standpoint of the resources and in the Sun Belt and the program that the sustainability and the program that can be built here. I do believe in those things as a competitor, right? That I can find that success and get the right kids and be able to provide great experiences for our players. Like, I believe that can be sustainable at Southern Miss, where maybe that might be more difficult, you know, at other places. But I think the main thing is, you know, I have so much love for the city of Hattiesburg and the university that, I mean, obviously a chance, and then obviously my family's here, you know, and Chip loves Hattiesburg, you know, Drew, I mean, he's grown up here in church, and, you know, you just look at, and then my parents are here, my sisters, like my nieces and nephews. I mean, it's just, you know,
it's the right fit.
It just, you know, I mean, obviously it's just a real blessing to be able to do this at this level and do it in your hometown's pretty unique, right?
So look, so you mentioned Chip, and he'll get a chance to talk for himself, but, like, one thing I think the competitor that you talk about that you are, like, I get a chance to see it on Friday nights.
Right.
Like,
don't judge me.
Like, no, you good. But it's funny because, like y'all are the same way at each other's games.
Right.
Like y'all are so supportive and y'all want to win so bad. Like if you could get a clipboard and coach on Friday nights, you would call plays.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm saying from the outside looking in, it's inspiring to me because it's not pulling y'all apart, it's bringing y'all together.
Absolutely.
Because coaching can take a toll on family.
Right.
But the way y'all do it together.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the biggest blessing in it because you show up for him.
Right.
And he shows up for you. And y'all are both ingrained in each other's program, willing to do whatever it takes to make that work. So I just wanted to throw that. Whenever you mention Chip, that's what come to my mind. Because if y'all have never seen her on a Friday night at a football game, it is something to watch. She is hilarious. She is the coach. If they could give her a job over there doing that, she would do it too.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. So look, you mentioned Drew.
Yeah.
Drew, another coach in the making.
I believe so.
Like I'm saying, it will surprise me
I don't think he stands a chance.
if this kid does anything else with his life.
That's right.
So as a mother, you have to juggle all this.
Right.
So how is that been seeing your son grow up in sports, be a part of every program, be a part of every team, and now he's getting ready to start his own journey?
Right. Oh, that's a heavy question because that's, obviously Drew's so incredibly, like, he's absolutely like so many things to me. He's my son. He's my best friend. I was joking the other day, he's like my recruiting coordinator. Like he thinks he's on me about who I should be recruiting, But he just, he brings so much joy to our life. I mean, everything that every single day, like, that's one thing I'm really struggling with him going to college because even though he's going to be, really down the road, I don't get to wake up and have those conversations every morning. I'm hoping he'll still come by the house and, want dinner or whatnot, or come by on weekends to get his clothes washed, right? But I know that that's going to be different no matter what because he's moving out and everything. But at the end of the day, I'm just really proud of him. He's an extremely hard worker, a great young man, and I know he's mine, but we've put him in a lot of different situations. I think sometimes I felt a little guilt. He's been to really 4 high schools in 4 years, and that's tough on somebody. But, he's been able to really adapt well, meet a lot of new people. Obviously he loves sports. He's worked extremely hard to get to where he's at and the growth he's had. But, more than anything, he's just I think he's really grateful to be a coach's kid. Like sometimes you worry, like, I know it's hard on him because he takes those wins and losses hard.
Real hard.
He takes them hard. He wants me and Chip to be successful. But at the end of the day, like, he's been able to have so many awesome experiences. I don't think he'd trade it for anything, growing up in a gym and on a football field. And, I mean, the fact that he wants to do that himself and be able to have a family and have his family in coaching, right? It shows you that. I think it's been a pretty cool experience for him overall growing up in that. But just really proud of Drew, and I'm excited, that he's gonna be in this field, and right now he's saying he's going more the football direction. We'll see how that shakes out. Thought he was gonna be my basketball coach for a while, but anyway, we'll see how it shakes out. But I am really proud of him, and just he's definitely we talk a lot about me and Chip and coaching. Drew's been a team player. Like, he has been so supportive of me and Chip, and just so willing to do whatever, and that's hard. I mean. He's a teenager. He's a kid. He's growing up. But I also think he's so well adapted and just so well. I don't worry about him going to college and meeting people. I don't worry about him being able to fit in. He can go into a room and fit in with any different type of person. I mean, and so I think long term, like, it's really he's going to do really well because of that.
So whenever you talk about your family, one thing that I think. Several things, but one thing that sticks out to me is, whenever we had these conversations about, what's next and where you go and what you do, you've always made decisions considering your family.
Right.
So, and this may be for a coach that's getting into coaching, that's on this journey. Like, what would be your thoughts or your advice to them as it relates to keeping family, keeping that stuff at the forefront? Because I know some people take jobs and they don't consider anything but the money.
Right.
And I'm saying every decision that you and I have talked about, you've always said, I got to think about what's best for us.
Right, right. Yeah, well, that's your team, right? And that's your family. And that's, Chip and I are partners. He's my husband. And so if it's not good for him, it's not good for the whole group, or Drew as well, And so I think we've been really selective over the years. I mean, there's been a lot of opportunity, especially as a young coach, maybe to take that Division I job at a much younger age, or and I just always believe that, like, through prayer and through, you're someone, Kendale, I've always seeked out advice from when I've had those big decisions, And so I think, just really trusting that whatever God's plan for you is what's going to be, and not really trying to maybe force those things or sacrifice things that are really important to you, I just think about some of the decisions I've made over the years and some of the things I've passed on, and I don't regret that at all, because at the end of the day, all roads led me here, right?
That's
but
it.
at the end of the day, too, you look at it, and I don't think I'll ever regret making sacrifices that were better for my family or that seemed to be best for the whole group than just for me. I don't think I'll ever regret a choice of maybe, I think in coaching sometimes it's frowned upon, like everything's about working hard and I'm making these sacrifices and I'm doing this and doing that. But at the end of the day, like, I think sometimes, like, as a coach, like, also being able to make those hard decisions of, putting your family first, and maybe I don't go to that event, and I know that sounds bad, but like maybe my son has this that I really need to be present at. And when you look 10 years down the road, me being present there, maybe, obviously maybe more important. And when you look back on it, that's going to be what I, don't want to miss, right? Or what I would regret missing. So I think sometimes, like in coaching, that's the thing. We work extremely hard. I mean, I don't know when the last time I've had like a day off. I couldn't tell you. We work very hard, but I also had a great day with Drew yesterday evening. It's his birthday, so we made sure we did our family and we took time out. I made sure I didn't have a visit last night, so I could take him. It's his 19th birthday. Take him out to eat, spend time with him. And we had that family, even though I worked all day, I had that night with him, right? And so I don't know. It's just little things, but being able to make sacrifices. And, I just think 20 years from now, when I look back at things I will regret, I don't ever think I'll regret putting my family first. So
yeah, because think about it. I look at it from this perspective. When you talk about putting your family first, everybody says that.
Right.
Everybody has that motto. It's just that sometimes the next opportunity and the culture we live in, and hey, my name is here, I got this type of salary, and that's what I believe has drawn me to be connected to you and Chip, is because I sincerely believe that y'all care about the family aspect first,
right?
Because what happens if you so you go win,
right, but
you lose family in the process,
right?
Do you gain anything? And that's always my message for people, especially it don't have to be in coaching. It could be teaching. It could be in the oil field. It could be whatever that looks like. Man, have a foundation, have some non-negotiables, have some stuff that you're not going to bend on, and then let everything, because most of my decisions are already made because of what I'm about.
Right.
And so if you don't know what you're about and you don't know who you are, you're going to weave through life and it can pull you in all these different attractive directions. But I'm saying, like, I believe y'all done a great job at, just sustaining that, because I've seen Drew in every place. And Drew hadn't been in every place miserable now.
Yeah.
Drew be on the sidelines like you would think he getting ready to suit up for the boys at Jones whenever he was playing, whenever he was there. So it was like he was having fun and being a part of it too. And I think that's commendable in this day and time where we got this hustle culture.
Right.
And everybody just, let me go do this, let me go do that. Like, it's some stuff I say no to.
Right. Absolutely.
For the sake of my family. It's some things I'm not going to attend because I'm conscious of who's suffering or I'm sacrificing on the other end of it. Right. So that's the beauty of coaching and the way you've done it, in my opinion. Now, let me talk about, this transfer portal. And you may not be able to share much.
Right.
But how different is it, or how challenging is it to be coaching in this space now with all of these things there?
It's I will say this, you have to be very adaptable and like forward thinking. That's what I'm learning, is like, it's year to year it's different. Like, when I first got an opportunity to coach at the Division I level, like what it was then just 3 years ago.
It's not the same.
It's not the same now. And so I think just being able to think ahead of like what's about to happen, because right now in the NCAA, it's so unpredictable, really. Like right now they're talking 5-5, you know. We kind of knew that was going to happen. We thought it was going to happen last year. Didn't happen. And now they're starting to bring that up. And I think it may really happen. So like, how is that going to affect now the class that we're recruiting? Like, will 4-year kids that have only played 4 years get another year? Will they be grandfathered in? Will it start next year, you know? And so tomorrow we could get news that changes the whole thing, right? And so just being able to work on the fly and being adaptable, not being stuck in our ways, you know, being able to figure out, be creative with how we do things. You know, I don't mind players being able to transfer. Like, to me, you know, it's our job as coaches to provide a great environment. And, you know, if we've got kids transferring in and out of our program every single year, then to me, that, I mean, you have to say, like,
what
I know
are we
it's
doing?
like, what are we doing? Like, because at the end, you know, now there are going to be some situations that are financial based and some situations where kids want to play. But, you know, I look at my own son, like if he's somewhere and, you know, he's not happy or he's not playing and there's a chance for him to transfer, to go down a level, maybe to play more or to go up a level and make more money, then, you know, why would we limit, you know, the student athletes to those opportunities? And so I'm pro student athlete when it comes to that. I just, right now it's just more about navigating it. You know, retention is so important. Like, you know, we were able to, you know, 5 of 6 players that could return, we were able to keep. And, you know, I'm excited about that and proud of that. And then being able to like maybe recruit high school kids and just develop, like we signed, to me, the best high school player in the state of Mississippi this year, Jada Gay. And I know we've hyped her up a lot, but we're super excited about Jada.
She on the way, too. She on the way.
She's special. And so, you know, and so can we, you know, really pour into Jada? I think we got her because of relationships. You know, the relationship we had with her, Coach Williams had a great relationship with her and Coach Pittman. And so I think just you look at the relationship piece, that's probably why we got her. Now, what will that look like a year or two down the road? Will we be able to retain her? Maybe for a couple years, then maybe she goes junior, senior year to make big money, whatever. You know, we just kind of have to, you know, be able to adjust, I guess. So I'm not against a kid ever bettering themselves, you know, for sure. I think we provide great things here at Southern Miss. I think they have every resource they need to be successful. Certainly it's a loving environment. It's an environment of where I think that, you know, you've got a lot of people that are a big family away from home for these players. And so I think they enjoy that. I think that's genuine, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, we just got to be able to move and shake with what happens and figure it out. But it's certainly not something that I'm like, oh, the transfer portal. I mean, it's what we're dealing with, and it is what it is. And, you know, I don't think it's always a bad thing.
Yeah, because you mentioned something about relationships, and I'm convinced that still means something to some people.
Right.
You know, because I laugh about whenever you add Jones and you know, PRCC big rival.
Oh yeah.
Right. You was at PRCC, but like people there knew that Missy Bilderback was my friend.
Right.
And so I'm not going to compromise me doing what I do at PRCC. But folks know that the relationship that I got with Missy Bilderback
That's right.
means something to me.
Right.
And I'm not going to move off that because I believe relationships should still matter. It don't matter what kind of climate we're in.
Right.
It don't matter what kind of NIL and all this stuff. Like, that's why I believe the JK and the Nunu and the Carly Keats and the Melanie Timms and Zakai. See how I can name all these kids? Like, that's because it was a relationship that you had with them.
Right.
And I struggle with how things are going because I wonder if coaches are still caring about relationship. Not a Missy Bilderback, but that's my thinking. Like, do we still care about relationships, or do we care about how much money we can give them and then they do something for our program and then they leave?
Right.
Because the goal of coaching is to impact them beyond the game.
Right. And I think we've been pretty transparent, like in our conversations too with players. Like, obviously now there's a financial piece and it's different. And so, I'm not a GM. I'm not a negotiator.
Right.
You don't want to take me to go buy a car. Like I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not going to hold the line very
Right,
well. If
right,
I want
right,
it, I'm
right.
probably going to try to get it. Right. And so,
Yeah, no doubt.
So it's a tough situation because you're kind of looking at like, the piece of like, okay, you have this business aspect of where these players are coming and they're playing for you and you're giving them, resources and different things. And so, but then you have what it's supposed to be of like college athletics where they're learning how to grow into a young woman. They're getting their education. They're trying to be the best basketball player they can be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the days that everything slides over to just the business where it's all transactional, I don't know that I want to, be a Division I head coach
Right.
when it's all transactional.
Mm-hmm.
But right now we've been able to balance that we have that piece of it, but that piece is not more important right now than, those other things, getting our education, because this is a free education. You have an opportunity to play college athletics and that degree is going to carry you way long past all that NIL money's gone, right?
Yep.
Or that rev share money's gone. And so, and then being able to continue to grow and learn how to be a young woman and learn how to face adversity and learn, like if that part, the mentoring and just what it means to actually be a coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then developing our players and the basketball side of things. So like when it just becomes transactional, I don't know that would be for me, right?
Right.
But I don't feel like we're there yet. I think there still is a healthy balance. Whitney Hart staying at Southern Miss tells me relationships still matter.
Oh yeah, because she can go anywhere.
She's had it, as a young player, Mooney staying, those kids, like they could have gone other places. We know that. And
Yep.
so, and I truly believe that if J.K. Johnson had another year,
She'll come back.
I believe she would come back, not just because of like Coach Bilderback or Coach Pittman or whatever. I think it's just the value of like other people valuing her and her actually enjoying her day to day, and enjoying getting to be a college athlete, And so I don't think that it necessarily has to change. And you see that. You don't see Dawn Staley losing a lot of players. They have great culture. They have a great program of excellence. So she's keeping. I mean, every now and then you might see one player leave, and that's okay. Like, it's not the right fit for everybody.
Right,
And
right.
so, it's some of it's about fit, some of it's about money. I mean, but at the end of the day, I think relationships still do matter. And players want to play, and they want to be in places where they're valued. So, I do believe that.
Let me ask you this: so you can't navigate this stuff by yourself,
Right?
and you have to have a team. You got Coach Pitt, Coach Williams, and I'm sure Lauren Gross,
right? Coach Matt Garner. Yeah.
So how do you? I'm saying when it comes to that, because you have to have the right people
Right.
on the ship with you.
Absolutely.
How important is that?
100%. Like you've got to have people that you align like with the same vision, like just what we're talking about, and not being transactional. Like it can't be about what our kids are doing for us, or we've got to put them in a position where it's not about that. It's about us building a team, them being the very best they can be. And once they get on campus, like all of the other stuff, what it took to get them there, maybe, or what those agreements were, or maybe in some cases, I think not everybody is getting paid, right? And so being able to balance those dynamics a little bit, of maybe you have a superstar and all conference player that might need to get paid a little bit, right? And then the dynamics of maybe, a player trying to earn her way a little bit. And so, I mean, it's still about putting a group of people together and having a common goal. And I think your staff is crucial in that you're aligned in that. And that, I think the very first meeting we had, we talked about, like, I think you were there actually. You did our, our first day as far as just, really inspiring our staff, right? And so, but I think we talked about, hey, this is about the players first, and we're going to be a players first program. And we're going to pour into our players, pour into who they are as people, pour into their development. So it doesn't mean we cater to them. We hold them accountable. We push them to be their very best. But at the end of the day, we are basketball coaches. We're getting trusted with people's children to come here, play for us.
Yeah.
Like we have an obligation and a duty to do our very best to bring the best out of those players, right? And so that's something that I think is really important. Otherwise, you're going to start having a little resentment like, oh, well, she's getting paid here and, she's not doing this. Like, at the end of the day, is she doing her best? Is she being a great person? Is she doing the things we asked her to do? Can't always predict if the ball's going to go in the hole or if an injury is going to happen,
right,
or different things.
So I asked everybody this question. How important is having a strong village?
Oh, extremely, yeah. I mean, not just for my staff, but just my circle. Like, I have a small circle. I mean, I have a lot of friends, a lot of people, acquaintances, a lot of people I know.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking about a village, like that small circle of people that I really trust, and when I really need to talk to somebody, or I really need advice, or just need somebody to check my, perspective a little, because when you have, I mean, as a coach, like, again, the hardest person, you're going to be harder on yourself than anybody, And so, I mean, there's been many a times I've called you, Kendale, and said, hey, am I looking at this wrong? Just give me a fresh set of ears here of just listening and seeing, like, hey, am I just, making the right decisions? Because there's a lot of weight that goes into being a head coach. You want to, a lot of the decisions you make affect other people. And so making sure that not only are you thinking about how this affects you and your family, but also how this affects your team and each person and your staff. And so, it's not always so cut and dry. There's a lot of hard decisions. So certainly having that village is important.
Yeah, because a friend of mine said, he said, you can tell the people that don't have it.
Right.
Because of how they act, they're not accountable to anybody.
Right.
And so I feel it doesn't make me perfect, doesn't mean I don't make mistakes, but like everybody that I call my village or my friends,
right,
I'm accountable to them.
Right.
Like, so you won't, I owe them some level of respect to understand that I'm not just representing myself.
Right.
This is bigger than just me.
Right.
So the another question I want to ask, the community involvement, the fans, like, how has that been with you transitioning to this space here?
Yeah, it's been really, I mean, that's been pretty special. I mean, obviously from the day I had an opportunity to be named the head coach at Southern Miss, the response was really, I mean, heartwarming, just special, just, I can't imagine a better welcome, from the press conference to just getting here and those things, just seeing that people really believe in me and my vision and the way we do things, like that's meant a lot. I tell this story that the first time I played, I was actually coaching at ULM, and we came back and played at Southern Miss. And I tell this story, like, I remember walking out on Reed Green the first time and just seeing a lot of people there to support, right? I remember at first feeling a little pressure of like, gosh, man, I hope we win and play well. We've got all these people here.
Right.
But then I kind of thought, well, man, all these people are here to support our players and me, and so I've really kind of already won, right? And that's what I feel like right now, like where we are, like, the support that we've had has been, I'm just really grateful, from the administration. I mean, you can't leave out, Dr. Paul and Jeremy McClain, and just the support that they've given us and the tools they've given us to be successful. But at the same time, like the fans, like breaking our single season ticket record, the amount of people we had at our games, like we're top 5 in the league as far as attendance at women's home games, and sticking with us too, because we had some bumps. We started out really hot and had all that excitement. We had a few injuries, had some bumps in the road there, and people still came out and supported. And I had several people the other day text me, hey, when does season tickets go back? And I mean, I don't think that's going to fade. And so, I mean, I'm just really thankful for the community and that support. And, I think a lot of it just, it does make me like not want to fail, because, I want to prove all these people right about me, right? The people that hired me, that trusted me with this position, the people in the community that believe in me. It's not about anything really to do with myself or Chip or my family as much as like, I just want to prove that, hey, they believed in me and I can do this, right? And so, but at the end of the day, just keeping in perspective, what winning is, and it's going to come if we do it the right way. It always has, I believe in it. I'm not changing what we're doing, but it's going to come. I believe that for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm gonna tell you, Coach, you know, the thing that I'm inspired by is the leadership for one, and then two, just you never changed.
Right.
Like I'm saying, I've been knowing you for a few years.
A little bit.
Yeah, whenever Chip was at Perry Central and he was coaching there, but I'm saying like you never let getting the D1 job change you, whether it was ULM. You never let all the success you had at Jones get in the way of it. And I'm saying like I just think that stuff is what's gonna draw people to the program, to you, and I'm looking forward to the season. Like you already know, I be sitting on go. I be sitting on go, ready to go.
You never let me down.
Yeah,
always
and I'm always there. But talk about this last thing, because y'all do a lot of different things, and y'all involve other people with mentoring the girls.
Oh yeah,
come and speak to the young ladies. How important is that for them not to just hear your voice all the time?
Right.
Hear the coaches' voices all the time, but to talk about how other people can come in and impact their program.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been a lot of different situations this past year where we've, and just always that's been something we've felt was really important is, you know, sometimes my voice will probably tune out a little bit on them and that they hear me every day for so long. But obviously you've been a huge part of that. You know, I mean, you've been every time I've ever needed or asked, you've been there. And I'm just so appreciative of that, Kendale. And, you know, all of anybody that's ever played for me over the last since Jones, they know who Kendale is, Mr. Kendale. And and I think you've continued to mentor them throughout their journey, wherever that might be, right? And so I'm just thankful for that. But also, you know, we've had different people throughout the community that step up, and, you know, we have a mentorship program. That's not something I can take credit for. Coach Joy Lee, when, you know, that was something she started, the Soaring Above, and man, it's really a great program. And so you've got all these ladies from a really diverse group from the Hattiesburg area, professional women that really invest in our young ladies, and they take that time to spend and support and mentor, and it's a true mentorship program. And so that's been really cool to see, and we're so thankful to be able to continue it, and just all of the you know, involvement and investment, because, you know, I always say, and I said this the other day, we had our end of the year banquet, and it was a Soaring Above event, and, you know, the biggest thing to, you know, true investment when you give up your time, right? Because that's what everybody, like, at the end of the day, when you're giving your time to something, that's a real investment.
Can't get it back.
You can't get it back. And these ladies give not only their resources and their heart to our girls, but they give their time, and that's been something that's been really important. But certainly, you know, we've got so many great people in this community, and they've continued to invest in our players. And again, just a big thank you to you for always being there.
Yeah.
The best game we played this year was a Troy game. Guess who our pregame speaker was? So 98 to 95 win. It was a great, probably the best we played. And, you know, I give you a lot of credit for just what you said to them that night and the belief you poured into them and instilled in them. So, you know, it's about the whole group. It's not just about Coach Bilderback or, you know, our individual players, or, you know, this is a family deal, and you're certainly a huge part of our family, and I know you know that. But thank you for all you do.
And you know, one call, I'm there. Like I'm excited to get them on campus. I'm excited to meet them all. But yeah, I appreciate you, because I don't take friendship, I don't take the people in my life that I value lightly.
Right.
So for one, thank you for even allowing me to be a part of the program. Thank you for your time today, because I know you got calls, people trying to figure out when the next visit gonna be.
A big list of them.
Yeah, but thank you for your time today.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming out.
No, thank you, and thank you for all you do, not only for our program, but across the Pine Belt. Like, I mean, just all the young people you invest in, and programs, what you do at Pearl River, and what you've done for Chip and the Columbia Wildcats. I know you know, so that's
can't wait to have him on too.
Oh yeah, that'll be a trip.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be fun. But no, thanks for all you do, Kendale. You really make a difference. Like, you don't just talk it, you do it. You know, and so thank you for all you do.
Appreciate you. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Village Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone else.
It takes a village to